What's up, beautiful people? My name is Derek Standifer, aka Ayana's daddy, aka Derek Jr.'s papa, aka my parents' son. And I have the honor, the privilege, and the pleasure of interviewing one of the most amazingly talented individuals that we get the pleasure to know, Mr. Royce Lovett. Royce, man, how you doing, King?
I'm doing well, man. It's good to see Mr. Derek Standifer. I appreciate it. Real talk.
Man. One, I've been a fan of your music for since I met you, man. I remember doing shows with you. And I'm sitting in the audience, uh, vibing with you, rocking with you, man. And then it gives me like this competitive edge, that I needed to outsell Royce. I was like, we got to hustle the CDs. We already know what Royce gonna do, so my goal is to outsell Royce today. So man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
man, amazing family, man, amazing artist, amazing just all around individual, man. And then one for you to be the caliber of artist that you are, man. Like I said, you are amazingly humble, man. So thank you for being down to earth. Thank you for just being all around dope individual.
Appreciate it, man. It's all my mom and my daddy did.
Yes, sir, man. So man, so during Solving Sundays, what we do is I solve a Rubik's Cube and I juxtapose solving the Rubik's Cube, solving the twists and turns of your journey, of your life. You wear a lot of hats, but specifically an artist, songwriter, rapper, singer, amazing father, amazing husband, man, just an all around dope individual. So, question number one, first step of solving the Rubik's Cube is to believe. So, Royce, what's the goal of you? What do you want to be known for when it's all said and done? What do you want Royce Lovett to be known for? What's the goal of Royce Lovett?
Man, I remember that's a great question. I remember getting that a lot, 10 years ago when I was telling people I wanted to be a full-time singer-songwriter, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody would kind of be like, well, what you gonna bring to the table? What's the new thing you're doing? What's the such and such? And that question used to always stomp me a little bit because I didn't really think I was bringing something new to the table. I didn't really have like this confidence about me where I thought I was like, Kanye and going like change the world or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But um, then I was just kind of thinking about it, and my goal in music has developed over the time, but I think it's kind of always been kind of in the same vein a little bit. Um, I want to be known as what you just said, the latter two things. I want to be known as a great father and a great husband, and I think that those things aren't separate. I used to think those things were separate. Career was one thing, your spirit was one thing, and your family was one thing. But now I really think all those three of those things are the same. And
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like if I'm a great writer, then that means I know what I'm writing about, and that's love, and that's care, and that's the people, and that's change. And I can only truly understand that if I'm effectively being a great father, effectively being a great husband, and being vulnerable in front of my wife and in front of my children. So what you just said is what I want people to remember Royce about. Like when it's all said and done, and somebody says my name somewhere, I want, it'd be cool if they say, yo, I love that song, but I want them to be like, yo, he was just like a really cool dude. Like he wrote great music. He was a great dad. He wasn't afraid to hide in that. He was a good husband. That's what I want.
Hey man, amazing answer because I know you as an artist and I know you outside of artistry, just as an individual. And like you one of the men that I look up to for fatherhood and being an amazing husband, man. Like I saw you riding down the street, your seeds in the back, your son's in the back. I got to pick him up from school, and we get ready to go to the park. And I'm always seeing you in that mindset, in that vibe. And you and Hannah, y'all are always making things from what I see, making things work, putting things together into a perspective where y'all kids are loved and they give love and they show love and they demonstrate love, man. So thank you to you and Hannah for making an amazing family dynamic, man, that people can look
Thanks,
up to.
man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks, man. It's definitely I think that I tell Levi all the time that Levi's my oldest, for those not listening. I mean, for those listening and don't know me, he's my oldest, and I have a younger boy named Davi, and I tell him all the time, like, yo, this is my first time being a father of two. This is the first time like being a father of an 8-year-old. This is my first time being a father of a 9-year-old. You know what I mean? And so we're learning. Let's give each other grace. And and what you just said is kind of the goal. You know what I mean? Is that I want to teach you guys. I tell them, and even when we make mistakes, me and Hannah tell them that I want to teach you guys and show you guys love, because I want you guys to love people better than I did. You know what I mean? And I think that's what is going to make things work better. You know what I mean? Tuesday coming up, and we don't know what's going to go down, what's going to happen with the elections and stuff like that. You hear a lot of this and that, but I really feel like if we all, we think about love as something like petty and weak, but love is the strongest thing on the planet. You know what I mean? And so I think we can. That's how we can set a goal to help us solve those twists and turns that you're talking about.
Man, that's crazy. Put love should be at the top of everybody's platform. It should be, we want to know about the finances and we want to know about unemployment rates, man. But love should be at the top of your platform, man. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So after we pick up the Rubik's Cube with the belief that we can solve it, that brings us to step number two. Step number two of solving the Rubik's Cube. Step number two of solving life is to solve your cross. Now, solving your cross is to identify your why, your reasons, who motivates you. What's the fuel that makes Royce go so hard, man? Man, you're an amazingly talented songwriter. I mean, I say every song that I hear is jamming. Like I'm right there in my head, just writing on the wall, that's playing in my head right now. But what's the why? What's the fuel, man? Where do you get your passion from that make you go so hard as an artist and as a husband and as a father?
Man, I mean, wow, that's the cues, how they play with solving the Rubik's Cube. That's awesome. So my why, I believe that it grows and changes and looks a little different sometimes, but right now my why is, the reason why I write the songs the way I write them. I have a lot of people sometimes say like, "Hey man, you'll have a fantastic career if you go all the way hip hop. You'll have a fantastic career if you go all the way R&B." Or so, I had a manager a few years ago that he was just like, "Yo man, like if you were the Christian Ed Sheeran, like you'll go." And I was just like, "Yo, like those, like talking about God, talking about love, talking about stories and realness and mixing hip hop with reggae and soul. That's me, And one of the reasons why I don't want to veer away from that, like my why is, and you've seen it, like when you come to a show, a Royce Lovett show, you see different colors, you see different backgrounds, see different skin tones, and that's my why. You know what I mean? So I think that it's a blessing to me to look out from the stage and just see like older folks with younger folks and the hip hop heads with the hipsters, and you know what I mean? Like I love seeing that,
Yeah, breaking people together.
Yeah.
It's too divisive, man. We grew up in this black or white, now Republican or Democrat, Trump or Biden. Like, can we create an environment where everybody can come together and rock and vibe, and it's nothing but love amongst all people. It's a beautiful thing when you see two adversaries come together on the common ground, man. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So step three of solving the Rubik's Cube, step three of solving life is to fill in the corners. Now, on the cube, filling in the corners is solidifying, filling in the space. You got an entire white side. In life, filling in the corners is who you surround yourself with. What kind of environment do you immerse yourself in? Who are your friends? What kind of environment do you grow in? So, Mr. Lovett, how do you nurture yourself? What kind of environment do you put yourself in to become the high producing person that you are?
Yo, I think that's super important. I was telling my nephews, this week, they came over and I was showing them how to, I was putting down new wood flooring and trying to like show them how to like do it, because I'm kind of getting into this like real estate thing a little bit. But anyway, talking about like, I think Nipsey said that if everybody in your circle is not going anywhere, then you don't have a circle, you have a cage.
Mm-hmm.
And that means a lot, you know what I mean? And then I think also with these polarizing sides, what you were just talking about, divisiveness and things like that, like you can be so comfortable, you know, hanging around with folks that look like you and talk like you and answer like you and spend money like you. And that's just the echo chamber of just yes people and folks that's not helping you grow, you know what I mean? And I think that one thing that I try to do, because I love stories and I feel like stories tie us together in humanity. And so like I love getting involved in people's lives that don't spend money the way I spend. Because then I learned. Like, I mean, we're just talking about real estate. Like 2017 was, you know, rough for me because I didn't really understand how to move money around and to make more money grow, you know, as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, artists get paid while they're on tour. You know, it's COVID right now. Nobody's on tour. So you're trying to figure out, you know, how you're going to get finances, things like that. And if I kept my little bubble of folks that don't know nothing about finances, then how can I grow? You know what I mean? And so I had to step outside my comfort zone and talk to people and listen to people, find books, find podcasts and things like that that were interesting and insightful and uncomfortable to help me grow in that lane in that area as a writer. You know what I mean? I love getting in writing sessions with people. You know, growing up in Tallahassee, Florida, you don't really think that people, well, I don't know what people feel now, but when I was growing up in Tallahassee, Florida, I thought that artists write their own songs. Like nobody else write it. And so I remember when I signed my first deal with Motown, they flew me out and they put me in a room and they was like, hey, this is such and such, this is such and such. We're gonna write together. And I was like, hold up, I write all my stuff. I was like, you know what I'm saying? These are all my words. And they're like, yeah, but like this is how like the songs get better. Like these Beyonce records you listening to, these huge records you listening to, they got, you know, 3 and 4 writers on it. And they sharpening each other, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And so I just learned a lot as far as what you're talking about. Is who you hanging around, you know what I mean? Who elevates you, who challenges you. And the same thing with you, man. Like when we're on the road together, and you know, I've never considered myself like a lyricist, but when you're surrounded by poets that go, you know what I mean? Like you just can't be up there singing no more. Like your singing need to be impactful. You know what I mean? Like your singing need to hit. And so like when you surround yourself with people that help you grow in different ways, you know, I think about Keith Rogers, keyboard all the time. You know what I mean? Like, you know, before me and him, you know, I was afraid to walk up to somebody and ask them for a show or to sell a CD or have that talk game, you know? And so I think that what you're saying is 100% correct. Sorry, my answer was so long, but that
We want the in-depthness of it. So no, we want to know how you got to the level, man. And you shouted out common mentor and both of us with Keith Rogers. I just know for a fact that this show wouldn't have, it started a long time ago when I met Keith 10 years ago. It started by building up the confidence for me to get in front of people and open my mouth and say, hey, look, I got a skill, I got a service that I can offer, and it will be beneficial to you. You know, that was a talent that we had to learn how to do. And imagine if we decided to, you know, stay within our own bubble and stay within our own knowledge. And we didn't seek out people who knew more about hustling and who knew more about, you know, songwriting. I mean, you said it as a poet. My goal as a poet is to be the best version of myself that I could be. And I can only become the best version by surrounding myself with people who are going to sharpen me. You know, if I'm hanging around strong writers, my writing has no choice but to get stronger. So thank you for that. Thank you for that, man. Yeah.
100%.
You know, just doing the show. I remember you and I, we did a show, Black and Background did a show at the University of Florida.
Yeah, I remember that show.
And that was one of the things that made me realize, we already know what Royce gonna do. So I gotta find something within myself. If I want to make CD sales, I gotta figure out how to maneuver my way around. You know, so and it just added an extra layer of one confidence, two skill set. So no, you know, we got an artist who gonna sell. You can't go home empty handed. It's non-negotiable. You still gotta sit here. And a lot of times people run from that competition, man. But it ain't nothing but love. It's nothing but love when it's a friendly competition and it's a steel sharp steel type ordeal. So Yeah, for
100%.
the community in Tallahassee, man. Tallahassee got. I say this all the time. Tallahassee is dark, fertile soil, man. You can grow and develop. You plant your seed here, man. It's gonna prosper and grow and develop other fruits that other people gonna be eating off of. So, um,
100%, bro.
yes. So step four of solving the Rubik's cube. Step four of solving life is to take it to the next level. Now, on the Rubik's cube, taking it to the next level is solving the second row. It's getting better, growing, developing, making progress in your career. And you mentioned some of this. So you mentioned the podcast, the YouTube videos, and certain books that you read to strengthen your real estate acumen. But how do you grow and how do you develop as an artist? A lot of artists watch this program. How do you grow and develop in that realm?
I think you have to be okay with being uncomfortable. If you're not okay with being uncomfortable, you don't allow yourself room to reach and to grow and to move and maneuver. In that same light, you have to be okay with being teachable and learning. My first year being signed, I learned so much, but it was my expectations, my ignorant expectations were, were higher than my realization of what I was learning. So I
Mm,
was frustrated. I was angry. I wanted to have my way with certain things. I thought certain things were supposed to go this way and they actually went the other way and this, that, and the third. And you know, what you have to realize is that as an artist, you don't know everything. And that's the same thing, as a father, as a husband, as uh, a doctor. You don't know everything, and you have to learn and develop from other folks. I'll tell you, one experience right here. You know, I felt like over the years, I felt like I became a really good performer. You know, and uh, I had the opportunity to perform on BET, and they they brought somebody out to choreograph some stuff. And I was like, yo, I don't need like someone to choreograph for me. Like I'm like, what am I
mhm,
doing wrong? Like to me, that meant, Royce, you're not good at what you're doing. You're doing something wrong. But in actuality, that meant we want to sharpen what you have so people can actually see it and actually be in what. So me being frustrated after speaking with the person and learning some things and them having to kind of like teach me how to be teachable, I
uh-huh,
learned that some certain stuff that you do on a live stage makes complete sense, but you can't do that same stuff on camera because it
mm,
might not make any sense. And so
mhm,
that's why they brought somebody else in. You know what I mean? I try to tell some people this, like, you're at a live show, somebody says, put your hands in the air, and you got your arm kind of cocked sideways like this, and you're going like this. At a live show, that look okay. But on this camera, that don't look like I'm a very confident person. You know what I mean?
It
So
makes
when
sense. It
you're
makes
on
sense.
a big stage on camera, it needs to be strong, and you need to move with those things, and it just really showed that, they brought somebody in to dress you. And I was like, oh my goodness, why you got to tell me how to dress or do this?
Yeah.
And so what I'm trying to say is that, well, I'll just give that one little tidbit. Like on camera, textures look good. And so they
Mhm,
were saying what you have on right now is too flat. Like there's no textures. And so you got this camera on you. That's why we want you to wear this layered look, a jacket. The jacket was corduroy. I was like, I ain't never worn no corduroy jacket. It was just weird. But they were like, on camera, it's gonna be fly. And I was like, these colors look weird, but on camera, they were right. It came out like fantastic.
mhm,
So what I'm trying to say is that, for artists out there listening, that if you want to grow, I think you have to be willing to take off, some of the hats you're wearing as you develop and allow those experts to help you. If everybody that you play a song for is like, yo, that's the jam every single time, then you might need to go to somebody that's going to say, yo, like you keep on talking about this topic, like, you know what I mean? Or
uh-huh,
say it in a different way. Your vocab needs to grow. like you said, almost the same exact line in the other song. You know what I mean? Like you have to be around somebody that's going to like test you, you know? And so that's my advice to artists, you know?
It's crazy you said that, man. I was just thinking, you can become a slave to your own experience sometimes. You know, hey, I've been doing this for 10 years, man. I got this. I don't need your, I'm good. I've been doing this for a minute. And when you got experts who they it's like you can't see yourself in the picture. They step outside the picture and they can see things that you aren't even paying attention to. You aren't even your eye can't even recognize it because you're in the picture. And that's the value of having a coach
Yeah.
outside who can see, you know, hey, like you said, the live performances, man. This looks great in the live performance, but this is a camera setting, and we need a camera. We need a camera to maximize your effect right now. So we need to switch it up a little bit. And that's you know, I can understand that frustration as an artist. You've been rocking stages for a decade plus. You've been rocking stages. Everywhere you go, you kill it. There's somebody coming to tell you, hey man, you got to switch up how you doing this. You know, that's one of those things where, you know, being a know-it-all, it feeds your ego to think you know it all, but it kills your growth. It kills your you know, the development. But somebody can't come in and tell you, look, I can make you better. I know you good, but I can take you to a next level, man. We need coaches like that. As a speaker, I love. Of course, I love when people come to me and tell me, "Derek, that was a great speech, great job. You did an amazing job." I love the people that come to me and say, "You spoke too fast. Can you slow down next time? Enunciate. I couldn't hear certain words that you were saying." Those are the people, you know, that I gravitate towards because, you know, like you say, it's cool for the applause and thank you for that, but you want the people that's going to critique you in a loving way, where say, "Look, you can enhance it. Slow down. Speak clearly." So thank you for sharing that.
100%. There is a, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting his name. He came to Black on Black almost every time in Moonlit Mondays. He had I'm forgetting his name, but one time I walked off a stage and he dapped me up and he said, next time just start playing the song, don't talk first. And that messed with me a little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm laughing because somebody told me the exact same thing. Don't go out there talking, start the poem. And my features were 1,000 times better, man. Like as soon as I started the poem, I had the audience in, and it's wow. I'm thinking I got to introduce myself. I introduced myself after the first poem, and it's a different reception. So
It's
that's
the
why I'm laughing.
production value. Yeah, the production value is different, you know, and just learning these different things, like continue to grow, continue to like push yourself. You know, I talked to, you know, some rappers. Nowadays, a lot of rappers, they like to they feel like they might forget their words, so they'll put their so they'll perform to their track instead of performing the actual lyrics. And so I was like, hey man, something that can be really cool, but you need to bring, you know, those lyrics down a little bit. Maybe for this show, learn how to like slow it down, have different versions of the song, because you're gonna be in different settings. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you want to be versatile, you want to get paid in different areas. You know what I mean? And so I think that we have to be willing to add. One thing too is, as we get coached, I think we got to be willing, just like you're doing on this platform, willing to drop those coaching nuggets to other people too, in all different ways, you know, whenever we can, you know.
It's crazy you said that, man. I'm a big fan of Bruce. I love his comedy. I love watching live speakers, preachers, everybody who speak, but comedians, because they have a great way of storytelling and making it comical. But I saw Bruce. He's a African American comic. His comedy is for African Americans, folks in the South. I saw him do a show for older white people. They can't hear it. It's not gonna translate as the same to hear the slang and the draws and the talking fast. And I'm listening to him in front of this older crowd, and he's speaking so soft and enunciating every word, and he's killing the show. I'm like, this thing entertaining to me, but it just shows, man, you gotta learn how to code switch when you're in a certain crowd. And I'm sure as an artist, you know, young crowds, you can rock young crowds differently than you can an older crowd. They have different listening ears, the different music program to their taste. So you can't be a one size fits all type performer or type artist. You got to be able to, you know, code switch.
So, completely. It's whoever you're dealing with, you know. Just off top of my head, like I spend a lot of time, you know, at, you know, detention centers sometimes, and and you can't go in there the same way you go in there to a live performance, you know. And I see a lot of people go in there and they'll put on that same show, and the kids are like, you know, I'm not really with it. I feel like you're just the same people. But when I come in there and instead of doing like a really fun, bright song, I just do some acapella bars. And those kids are like, off after a minute, they're like, they're listening to the bar because they're, oh, he got bar, you know what I mean? Like, and it's another style of like grabbing your attention, and then we can do some other stuff. And so you got to be able to, and I learned that from someone else. And so, you know, just again to artists out there, speakers, performers, people are going to know certain audiences, people are going to know certain music styles, and people are going to know certain things, and you're going to know certain things too. And you got to, at some point, learn to like stretch and grow and develop, so you can like, you, what you say, you said take it to the next level, you know?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's actually, once you gain a fan, you know they're on your side now. They're expecting. You ever heard a comedian, funny comedian, and then they go up and do bad jokes. The jokes they aren't as funny, but the crowd's still laughing because it's the comedian. They associate the comedian with being funny, not the jokes per se. In a sense, I hope that makes sense. But
Yeah.
you know, it happens all the time. So you got to be able to win your crowd over and win the audience over in the beginning, and it pays it for itself. You know, in future events. So now, after taking it to the next level, we're on the fifth and the final step of solving the Rubik's Cube. And the last step of solving the Rubik's Cube is to see the bigger picture. Now, seeing the bigger picture is a metaphor for keeping your commitment to your commitments. We all experience trials and tribulations. We go through the highs and lows of life. When you experience those moments, when you feel like throwing in the towel, when you feel like God is testing you, Royce, man, how do you keep your commitment to your commitments and keep pushing, keep fighting, and keep twisting and turning the Rubik's Cube until you figure it out?
Man, to give a little story and to try to be brief at the same time, you know, I keep going to 2017 when I talk to folks sometimes, because that was probably one of the roughest years that I've experienced, I believe, because I didn't really keep my commitment towards the end of the year. Like, I didn't see the bigger picture. I was so involved in feeling like I failed at being a father, at being a husband. I failed at, you know, being an artist, and I thought I was supposed to be here. And all this because I was like comparing myself to other people's accolades and bank accounts and things. And I had this moment, and I don't know if everybody gets these moments. You know, I pray that people do. But I had this moment where it was New Year's. The family was in the other room. I was by myself looking out the window. I could see it. I could see it now as I'm like talking to you, looking out the window. And while everybody was about to, you know, count down and yell Happy New Year's, I was like in my head, in my thoughts, and I was about to say, this year was a complete failure. And as those words came out, I had this experience, and I don't even really know how to describe it to folks, but I had this experience that as those words came out, I said, I didn't end up saying that. I said this year, and so grateful came out like involuntarily. Like, and then I kind of laughed because in my head, I'm a thinker, if you guys don't realize it by now. But like I think about what I want to say and then I say it. Because in my head, I was like, I was going to say something else. And then after I said that, immediately, like all these thoughts came back to like of all these reasons I have to be grateful for. And now that's what I use to step back and see the bigger picture. Because there's so much on this page to be grateful for, but if you're like this close all the time, which sometimes I think you do need to focus this close a little bit, but if you don't have a good balance and you're this close all the time, you can't look back and be grateful for that and that and that. And I'll beat myself up so quick. You know, it's even crazy. Like right after that, I was learning and growing. People came into my life. I was learning and growing. And I wrote down these 2 goals entering the next year. And this is when I started writing down goals. I've never done this before. I learned these 2 goals. I mean, I wrote down 2 goals: to buy a house with a yard so the kids could play, and to give a TED talk. And I did nothing to acquire that TED talk. Someone just gave me a call, and it happened. I'm kind of skipping through quickly. When I got back from the TED talk after doing it,
I can hear you.
Okay, when I got back from that TED talk, after doing it, I got back home, and one of the things that I planned for a new record didn't happen, and I automatically got upset. And I was like, oh man, the record is now, all the plans for the record is now all messed up. And my wife had to look at me, and she said, Royce, chill. You just did a TED talk. And I had to like stop, and I had to like repent and be like, dang, like I let a little thing that I thought was going to throw off something like change everything. So like, I think that for me, how do I see the bigger picture is definitely reminding myself to be grateful.
Man. One, my season, they in the background.
That's cool.
One, thank you for the transparency. Thank you, baby girl. Thank you for the transparency. Two, do me a favor. Take Derek in the other room for me. 2 seconds. But one, thank you for the transparency. But two, 2017, man, I knew I was a failure. You couldn't tell me otherwise, man. I was like, man, divorced, man. I had, I had bounced back from dropping out of school and whatnot, but I just felt like a failure until I stepped back and say, man, I'm so grateful for the things that I'm able to accomplish. I just hit 30 years old. I got you, Kane. I got you. But I just hit 30 years old, and I told myself that I wasn't where I wanted to be at 30, and I had to step back and say, man, there's a lot of things that you have done that you need to be grateful for, man.
Yeah.
So, we kind of hard on ourselves, and it's easy for high achievers to be hard on themselves, and we just got to sit here and realize, man, we're in the fight. As long as we haven't quit and we're still steadily making progress, man, we're good. So,
definitely.
Royce, man, we have officially solved our Rubik's Cube. We have officially solved the twisted turns of our life, man. So, one, from the top of my heart to the bottom of my soul, thank you for agreeing to do the interview. It's dope knowing you as an individual, man, as an artist. There's a lot of accolades, a lot of hats that you wear. So thank you for that. While we got a person of your stature to own, are there any last words that you would like to leave the people who watching with?
I think we said so much here, man. So I guess I'll repeat a few of those last words. Is guys, make sure that you stay grateful. And the thing is that I think a grateful person is only a self-aware person can be a grateful person. So become more self-aware, allow yourself to grow, and you'll find that gratefulness you're looking for.
I got hype men, hype women. They want to be a part. So cool. Royce, man, again, thank you. Be great like the lakes. Be blessed like a sneeze. All right, good people. I mean, y'all be sure to check out Royce Lovett and his many platforms and the many things that he got going on. Our point one, you made a statement about missing performing live, bro. When I get the next time I get the chance to perform on a live stage, I'm gonna honor it. I know, these live performers, we're missing that stage. So, man, we can't wait to have you back on the stage, good sir. Be blessed. Be great. Tell the family I said what's up. And again, man, enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right.